Let us move on towards our next paragraph from Clayden book. Many of the early agrochemicals were phased out. What is an example of early agrochemical? Early agrochemical example is DDT. Okay, DDT. DDT. It is the most common example of early agrochemical. Okay. So many of the early agrochemicals like DDT were phased out. Okay, as they were persistent environmental pollutants. So agrochemicals, what are agrochemicals? You already know. Herbicides, insecticides and fungicides. Okay. Herbicides, insecticides and fungicides. These are agrochemicals. Okay. And these are used to kill weeds, insects and fungi. Okay. Used to kill weeds, weeds, weeds. Okay. Used to kill weeds. What are weeds? I have already discussed in the previous lecture. Okay, weeds, insects and fungi. Okay, these are killed with the help of agrochemicals. This weed is not the one which you use for smoking. Okay, the smoking weed is very different. Smoking weed is marijuana. Okay, smoking weed is marijuana. Over here we are talking about agricultural weeds, and in agriculture weeds are unwanted plants which grow alongside crops. Okay, unwanted plants which grow along with crops are termed as weeds. Okay, unwanted plants which grow along with the crops, they are termed as weeds. So many of the early agrochemicals were phased out. Early agrochemicals like DDT, many of them were phased out as they were persistent environmental pollutants. They were polluting the environment, they were entering the food chain. Okay, so how do they enter the food chain? They enter the food chain because for example we sprayed DDT on some crop, then a bird will eat the crop or human will eat the crop. If the bird eats the crop, then or if the bird eats the insect which is killed by this DDT, a bird comes and eats the insect which has been killed with this DDT, and as a result the bird gets that particular DDT in its body. Then the bird is eaten by cat. Okay, then cat is eaten by someone and so on and so forth. This DDT can reach human body. Okay, the DDT was able to reach human body. This is called as bioaccumulation. This is called as bioaccumulation. Okay, so this DDT reached the human body. For example, if someone did not wash the rice properly, if suppose rice is grown with the help of DDT, okay, by using DDT as an agrochemical while growing rice, suppose if someone does not wash rice properly, if someone does not wash the rice properly, then what will happen? The DDT will go inside the human body. Okay, this is called as bioaccumulation. It will enter the food web. It will enter the food web or food chain. You must have learned in your lower classes in environmental studies all these things. You must be remembering this. Okay. So because of these environmental concerns, many of the early agrochemicals were phased out. Okay, because of these environmental concerns, and they were environmental pollutants. That's why they were phased out. Okay, and some of them were banned also. Some of them were phased out, and some of them were banned. Modern agrochemicals have to pass stringent environmental safety tests. Okay, because nowadays we are getting more and more concerned about the environment. Why are we getting more and more concerned about the environment? Because nowadays it is an era of global warming. Okay, and without the nature, even humans cannot survive. Okay, if the human race wants to be healthy, then they should protect the environment. Otherwise they cannot be healthy. They will have to otherwise bear the consequences. Okay, so we are already bearing the consequences like global warming, etc., etc. Okay, so modern agrochemicals, that's why have to pass stringent environmental safety tests, because we are getting more and more environmental concerned about the environment. So these are the things. And also United Nations also has its own guidelines. Okay, United Nation as well has its own guidelines, right? So we also need to follow those. So these are the modern agrochemicals, and they have to pass stringent environmental safety test. An agency will look will scrutinize. An agency will scrutinize the modern agrochemicals, and only if it is environment friendly, only then it will be passed for use. Okay, so such will be the scrutiny by a local country's agency. The most famous modern insecticides are modeled. In the olden days, synthetic insecticides were used. In the olden days, synthetic insecticides were used, but the most famous modern insecticides, the ones which are used nowadays, okay, are modeled on the plant-derived pyrethrins. What are pyrethrins? This particular compound shown over here is pyrethrin. So it is written that a pyrethrin, and from where this is extracted from? This is extracted from pyrethrum. Okay, this particular compound. Okay, it is extracted from the flower pyrethrum. Okay, this particular compound is extracted from the flower pyrethrum. Okay, and how does the pyrethrum flower look like? The pyrethrum flower looks something like this. This is pyrethrum flower. Okay, pyrethrum. This is pyrethrum flower. Okay, this is the picture of pyrethrum flower. Although there is a huge variety in pyrethrum flower, various colors are there. This is not the only color. White is not the only color of pyrethrum flower. Other type of colors are also there for pyrethrum flowers. Okay. So the most famous modern insecticides which are termed as environmental friendly, although in India still DDT is being used. Okay. In India still DDT is being used for agriculture. Still, even today, even after so many years of even after so many years of United Nations putting the law that DDT must not be used, even after United Nations banning the DDT, still in India, poor farmers still use DDT. Poor farmers still use DDT in India, even after DDT getting banned or phased out. Okay, although on paper India does not use DDT. On paper I am saying, in legal terms DDT cannot be used for agriculture in legal terms on paper. But in reality the law is not followed. Okay, so the most famous modern insecticides are modeled on plant derived pyrethrins. This is pyrethrin extracted from pyrethrum flower, which is a daisy like flower from East Africa. Okay, modeled on plant derived, so it is derived from plant. Okay, plant derived pyrethrin, and stabilized against degradation in sunlight. Now these pyrethrins, these get degraded in sunlight, and if these get degraded in sunlight, then they cannot act as insecticide. If they get degraded in sunlight, then what will be their use? How will they kill the insect then? Okay, so in order to stabilize them against degradation, okay, so in sunlight they get degraded, so to avoid the degradation in sunlight by chemical modification, okay, so we modify the pyrethrin. You can have a look, this is my modified pyrethrin. So what we have done is that this brown portion, have a look at this brown portion, we have introduced, instead of two methyl groups like over here instead of those two methyl groups, we have introduced bromine. Instead of those two methyl groups, and instead of this entire group, we have introduced this group in green color. Okay, this group in green color. So this brown colored group and green colored group. Okay, this is brown colored group, and it is given in brown color in your book. This bromine is given in brown color in your book, and this particular group is given in green color in your book. This particular group is given in green color in your book, in your Clayden book. If you look at the book, you will find this. Okay, so it has been written the brown and green portions of Decamethrin. Okay, now this compound is called as Decamethrin. Okay, so these are the modified portions, and this is more stable in sunlight as compared to pyrethrin. Although it is derived from pyrethrin, but as compared to this pyrethrin, this compound decamethrin is more stable, okay, and it is more active against insects, okay, against the insects, against the pests. It is more active and it is more stable in sunlight. It does not get decay in sunlight, okay, it does not get decayed in sunlight. So what is written over here, let us read once again. The most famous modern insecticides like this, okay, are modeled on the plant-derived pyrethrins, stabilized against degradation in sunlight by chemical modification. So we have modified it chemically. The brown and green portions of decamethrin already told to you, and targeted to specific insects on specific crops. And these are very specific also. This compound decamethrin is very specific. Okay, this pyrethrin might also wipe out the important pollinating agents like bees, etc. Okay, this pyrethrin, it also kills the beneficial insects. There are some harm causing insects and there are some beneficial insects. So if the insecticide kills harm causing insects, it is a good thing, but if it kills the benefit causing insects, then that is not a good thing, okay. So but this decamethrin is such a compound which does not kill benefit causing insects, okay. So it is very targeted. This decamethrin is very targeted and targeted to specific insects on specific crops, okay. It is targeted to specific insects and on specific crops, okay. This decamethrin is such a compound. Decamethrin has a safety factor of greater than 10,000. Now, for example, this decamethrin, it is very less harmful for humans or mammals in general. Mammals are the animals which feed milk to their young ones. What are mammals? Mammals are such animals which feed their young ones through milk. Okay, they feed milk to their young ones. Such animals are called mammals. Okay, so humans are also mammals because they feed milk to the young ones. To the infants, mother feeds milk. Okay, so it has a safety factor of greater than 10,000, means if it is 10,000 times less harmful for mammals as compared to mustard beetles. Mustard beetles are a kind of pests. Okay, mustard beetles are a type of pests. These are what? These are a type of pests or harmful insects. Okay, so as compared to mustard beetles, mammals are not harmed. Okay, these are mustard beetles are harmed 10,000 times more as compared to mammals. These mustard beetles are harmed 10,000 times more as compared to mammals. Okay, so mammals are harmed very less, 10,000 times less. Mammals are harmed 10,000 times less as compared to mustard beetles. Okay, so this is the meaning of this statement. Decamethrin has a safety factor of greater than 10,000, even greater than 10,000 for mustard beetles over mammals. That is, they harm mammals 10,000 times less as compared to mustard beetles. Or in other words, mustard beetles are harmed 10,000 times more as compared to mammals when decamethrin is used. Okay, and its requirement is also very small. Okay, can be applied at only 10 grams per hectare. Now what is a hectare? Let me tell you. Okay, 1 hectare is 1 hectometer square. Okay, 1 hectare is equal to 1 hectometer square. It is a unit of area. Okay, now 1 hectometer, what is 1 hectometer? 1 hectometer is equal to 100 meter. Okay, and it is equal to 0.1 kilometer. Okay, so what will be 1 hectare equal to? 1 hectare will be equal to, what will it be equal to? 1 hectare will in turn be equal to 10,000 meter square. Okay, or we can say 0.01 kilometer square. Okay, what can we say? 10,000 meter square or 0.01 kilometer square. Okay, it is easy to visualize for a person in India or England. It is easy to visualize in meter square and kilometer square. because India follows England's system, British system. Okay, so for a person in India, I am making this video in India. So a person in India will find meter square and kilometer square to be much more easy to visualize. Okay, meter square and kilometer square are easy to visualize for a person in India, whereas hectare is not very easy to visualize. That's why I converted hectare to meter square and also converted hectare to kilometer square. Okay, this was the reason precisely. So 10 grams per hectare, okay, 10 grams is sufficient. 10 grams of decamethrin, okay, 10 grams of decamethrin is sufficient for 1 hectare of farm, 1 hectare of farmland. Okay, 1 hectare of farmland. For 1 hectare of farmland, 10 grams of decamethrin is sufficient. Okay, so it is giving the visualization about 1 tablespoon for football pitch. The football pitch is very big. Okay, Indians do not know much regarding football because in India cricket fans are much more as compared to football fans. Okay, in India cricket fans are larger, form a very large group as compared to football fans. Although India also has a football team, but the young youth is not interested in football. They are interested in cricket much more. Okay, so a football pitch is a very huge thing, a very huge area. Okay, so for such a huge area like a football pitch, 1 tablespoon is sufficient. 1 tablespoon is sufficient for a football pitch. Okay, and there is no significant environmental residue left after we use the decamethrin. After we use decamethrin, there is no significant environmental residue. Okay, no significant environmental residue. Okay, and this is pyrethrum flower. Just keep this thing in mind. This is not the only color, but one of the color. Okay, one of the color is white. Okay, so it is environmental friendly because it leaves no significant environmental residue. So it is environmentally friendly. This particular compound decamethrin as compared to this compound pyrethrin. Okay, so this is the thing, and it is derived from pyrethrin. That is, it is derived from natural compound because pyrethrine is a natural compound which has been isolated from pyrethrum flowers. Okay, this is the thing. This is the thing. Thank you very much. One end screen will appear over here. Click on that end screen and watch the other videos of this channel. Thank you very much.